Hi, good morning, everybody. So I hope everybody is all set to go. And my name is Parveen, and I would be the host for the day. And I heartily and warmly welcome you all to the Smart Meter Summit 2021. And welcome to the day one. Well, I would just take everybody through the agenda of the day. So how the day looks like. We're going to begin with the first keynote session, first and then second, and then we are going to have the panel discussion one. Post that, we're going to have a networking break for about a few minutes, and then we're going to have the keynote presentation 3, followed by panel discussion 2, and a quick lunch break of 45 minutes. Post that, we're going to have a keynote presentation 4, 5, and followed by the third set of panel discussion. And then we're going to have a short break. Post break, we're going to have the last presentation of the day and followed by the summary. So, well, I hope everybody is ready. So total, we're going to have 6 presentations and 3 panel discussions. So ladies and gentlemen, let me introduce our first keynote speaker who's going to address the gathering on rolling out smart ensuring progress deliveries value for money. So ladies and gentlemen, let's welcome Mr. Ganesh Srinivasan, CEO, Tata Power Delhi Distribution Limited. So over to Mr. Ganesh Srinivasan. Thank you.
I share my screen. Kindly confirm if it is visible. Yeah, is my screen visible?
Yes, Mr. Srinivasan, it's visible.
Okay, can I start?
Yes, please. Over to you. All the best.
Thank you. Thank you. Good morning, everybody. Very glad to be part of this conference, of this summit. And I thank the organizers of the Smart Metering Summit for giving us the opportunity to share our perspective on how we have rolled out smart meters and how DISCOMs can ensure value for money through this investment. Quickly about Tata Power DDL, just one slide. We are a 49% joint venture between Tata Power and Government of Delhi. We serve an area of about 500 square kilometers and about 1.8 million customers. Mainly, we have been able to reduce the AT&C losses, which was about 53% when we took over from the government in 2002 to currently about 7.3%. And this has happened because of the deployment of several technologies. And of course, smart metering is also part of that journey. What I will be covering in brief, mainly 3 areas. What is the business case for installing smart meters? What are the key aspects to be taken care of during the implementation? And that is, what are the do's and don'ts? And in our perspective, what will enable even faster growth of smart metering? So if I were to think about it, there are several decisions that the utility needs to make when it's going through the smart metering program. And there are multiple decisions that it has to take. And primarily, I would categorize them as 3 buckets. One is, of course, and one of the biggest choices that the utility needs to make is on the communication technology. And there are several choices here, whether it is RF mesh or power line. And if you want to go asset light, then we have 4G, NB-IoT, LoRa, LoRaWAN. So several choices available depending on the nature of the customer base that we are targeting or the spread of the customer base that we are targeting. The second is, of course, the meter business model, whether we want to go for a CapEx model, that is ownership of the asset, meter asset lies with the utility. In our case, we have gone for this as Tata Power. And of course, there is also quite prevalent is the OPEX model, wherein per meter per month, there is a charge, including the head-end system and the meter data management, which can again be on premise or on the cloud. And of course, the OPEX model or the cloud model is much more suitable for discoms that are having a cash trap position, and helps get revenue while they make the payment. And I think the third one, which is not thought about sufficiently, but I think very critical, is how are we going to approach the implementation and integration? Do we look at it as an in-house project with active involvement of the utility, but there is a higher risk associated with it, but it also comes up with building internal capability in the organization. And the alternate choice is, do we hand it over to a third party for end-to-end deployment, but there is a need for the utility to ensure that their teams are fully involved for taking over and driving business value. We have found that utility involvement is very critical and is required for smart metering to be successful in the long run. Now, what are some of the use cases that we have targeted and in general targeted across by utilities across the world? We have categorized it as 3 buckets. One is commercial benefits, second is operational benefits, and consumer convenience or consumer benefits. And if you look at commercial, these are quite standard, I would say. Reading of meters, removal of disconnection or removal of manual disconnection or auto disconnection, real-time energy audits. Now, this is something that is very critical and in fact is being emphasized by the Ministry of Power through its feeder metering and DT metering. Faster detection of inactive meters. So this is something that we come to know much faster through smart metering. Reduction in AT&C loss, that is the ability to pinpoint where the losses are and able to take action on it. From an operational efficiency point, there are, of course, the reduction in power purchase cost, faster outage detection, basically integrating the last gasp of the meter to the distribution management system so that we are able to detect which customers are out and able to restore those connections faster. Real-time power quality monitoring and DT health and phase balancing. So these are some of the operational benefits. I would say that both on the commercial and operational side, there are many more things that can be done with that data. But this is just a sample or a starting point of the use cases that are available. And last and not the least, but probably the most important, is how do we empower the customer? Basically, enablement for renewable integration. In future, we can integrate home automation devices through the smart meter, and we can give information to the customer when he is likely to cross a slab, that is consumption monitoring and the like. So basically, what is very critical for utilities and what we did was build out all the possible use cases that are relevant for us before we start off the project, so that we know what kind of data is required, what interval or frequency of data is required for the value to be derived. So that is very critical to map out right in the beginning. A little bit on communication. As I said, there are multiple choices and the utility has to take care of it, looking at it from coverage, technology life, cost, scalability, battery life, and the kind of support that is available across multiple applications. So in our case, we initially went for an RF mesh was chosen because our network of customers that we had targeted was quite dense, and the RF mesh gave the best total cost of ownership for us. And in this case, we went for an RF mesh that was utility owned, and it also gave us an opportunity to integrate it with our distribution automation solutions. Of late, about 6 or 8 months back, we have also started a second communication technology, which is NB narrowband IoT. And this has been basically started so that we are able to address those customers that are in wider geographical footprint, that is less dense customer base in the villages or in the outer parts of the license area where it is still not as dense. And this gives a very good option for us, an alternative. And we intend that we need to have at least 2 communication technologies active so that we can mix and match, because we believe that in any area, only one communication technology may not be the right answer if you look at it from cost and functionality perspective. A quick look at the architecture. As I said, we have both NB-IoT and RF deployed, and we have both the cellular our RF actually communicates with our HES through the optical fiber, which is there in our substations. Or if optical fiber is not available, then it communicates through a cellular backhaul as well. So the data comes to the collectors, and from the collectors it goes to and is read by the HES through the cellular backhaul or the optical fiber. And all of this goes to a unified MDM, which is integrated with all our SAP modules, with GIS, the consumer portal, the advanced distribution management system. So we get end-to-end visibility of all the data that is coming from the smart meters. So what have we been able to do with it so far? We have about 2.4 lakh meters installed out of our base of about 17.5, 18 lakh customers. This, of course, excludes the 30,000 AMR meters, which are in the pipeline. We do our monthly billing. Almost 99% of it, of these 2.35 lakh, happens through the smart meter data. We have started about last year. We started the connect disconnect option, remotely disconnecting and connecting the customer in case of non-payment. We have OPEX savings through the meter reading and avoided SIM rental. We have a huge customer engagement. We have close to 3 lakh hits on our portal. We have implemented a revenue protection module, which helps us detect theft. Actually, we have deployed new logics based on the increased volume of data that we have. How do we actually detect theft faster? Consumer empowerment. This is one of the most critical things. Every half hour, daily, monthly, the consumer can see the consumption. We have flexible, that is, the customer can set the consumption alerts that he wants to have, the time of day or time of use consumption, prepaid balance, lots of facilities. And one of the most important functionalities is firmware update or firmware on the air. That is, any parameters that we want to update. If we want to change a meter to a net meter, or a prepaid to postpaid, or postpaid to prepaid, a lot of things that the firmware that needs to be updated can be done on the air. And this is a major boost for us because of the time and effort that we had to spend in these matters. Just a little bit of detail on the commercial aspect. So as I said, meter reading, field services, we have a lot of benefit as far as call center as well, through reduced call center inquiries, bill complaints, increased recovery of unaccounted energy through the detection of irregular meter condition. As I said, we have revenue protection module implemented, and all the DT meters. An important aspect that I would like to highlight here is all the DT meters are installed with smart meters, and these are especially the ones that are having consumers with a large proportion of smart meters. We are able to do an energy accounting in a faster manner and in a much more accurate manner, because we are able to match the billing cycle with the data that we have from these DT meters. And we've also implemented a concept called virtual metering, wherein if the meters are, all of them are not having smart meters, how do we interpolate, extrapolate the data so that we have an end-to-end picture? So a lot of benefit in energy accounting and commercial aspects through the smart metering. Some of the other important benefits that we have from the customer perspective, it is the availability of the import and export data, particularly in case of a rooftop solar customer. Usually it is only the export data that is visible, but both the import and the export data which is available with the customer, better power forecasting. One of the applications that we are going to experiment is something that is still in the pipeline, is the behavioral demand response. So especially during our peak hours, we would like to give customers some incentive so that they are able to reduce their demand, so that we don't have to procure costly power. And in return of that, they will get some incentives. Earlier, it was very difficult to implement the behavioral demand response because the availability of the baseline is very difficult. Whereas in case of smart meters, since I have every 30-minute data, we are going to use last 10-15 days of data as a baseline for predicting whether the customer did reduce his demand, or or he did not. So this gives us a huge amount of flexibility for implementing of demand response. And lastly, we've also implemented a blockchain-based peer-to-peer trading application in a limited way, in a sandbox environment to test it out. Some other applications, I'll go very quickly in the interest of time. Scheduled outages, we are able to predict when the load is low and also monitor the oil temperature, winding temperature, and plan our outages appropriately so that we are not either doing it too soon or leaving it too late. Similarly, we are able to detect when the capacity enhancement is exactly required. We are able to know across the, say, 2-hour time slot, what percentage of loading is the transformer going through, and really helping us to defer capex wherever required. Energy efficient equipment and automation solution, this is something for the future wherein we intend to integrate the home automation solutions that are there with smart meters so that they are able to communicate both directly to the utility, and the customer is also able to get flexibility. And this can give a good another area of demand response, that is the automated demand response, which can be done through these home automation solutions. Power quality as well, we have the ability now to track all the power quality aspects, do necessary corrections, the harmonics and stuff, so that we are able to improve the quality of power that we deliver to the customer. A very interesting application. This is something that our team worked very closely with our business associates and partners to develop a solution wherein we are able to capture the transformer sensor data. This is particularly meant for DTs, these are distribution transformers, wherein we are able to, we are capturing 5 digital inputs, winding temperature, oil temperature, whether the door is open, whether the oil level is sufficient, etc. And then based on that, either send that data to the backend, and the backend, based on the logic, can open the breaker so that the transformer can be protected, or in case the limits have been reached already, then even right at the edge, based on the one digital output, we can open the breaker and protect the transformer from further damage. And this can save a huge amount of cost if it is integrated. So this is an application that we are looking at, particularly for the larger DTs, so that we are able to, as I said, both take care of the maintenance, but also in case of a catastrophic condition, we are able to save the DT from damage. Another application, very innovative, that has been done is inbuilt prepay module within the existing SAP. So as you all know, that in the prepaid, we have to communicate the balance almost on a daily basis back to the meter. And this goes through many changes, either because of the fuel surcharge, it is called in different names. It is power purchase adjustment charge, or fuel surcharge that is levied on customers based on the actual power purchase cost. Certain times the tariff itself may change on an annual basis. So all these is done at the back end, and this the balance information is pushed back to the meter so that the customer can get that information, and also it is also visible through the portal, so that there is no need for the customer to actually access the meter, but actually go through directly through the mobile app. Another aspect that I would like to highlight, particularly from a breadth of importance perspective, is the importance of cyber security. Now, especially if the meter is also communicating, then obviously there is a higher risk of an attack, and whether it is through process, firewalls, the VAPTs, vulnerability assessment tests, multiple aspects through which we have to ensure that cybersecurity is addressed. And there have been incidences in the past where either it is inadvertent opening of the disconnection of the meter, or this can also be done by malware or some other bad actor. So this is something that we need to take care of as utilities. Some of the challenges, I think I will not spend much time here, but basically it's a relatively new technology. Of course, it's been around for now some time. Some utilities have experience on it, but I'm sure that as every utility goes through it, there will be a share of surprises, a share of learning, of course, but that's very critical as we go through during the project. Integration of different applications is something that is quite challenging, but needs to be done to get the full value. Just restricting the usage to meter reading or billing is enormous waste of the large cost of smart meter that is there. I would say that also multiple meters being deployed, or meters from multiple manufacturers being available for use is also a very important aspect from the utilities perspective, given the proprietary nature of both the technology as well as the communication technology particularly. Now, going into the future, what are some of the aspects that are required for further scaling up smart meters faster? I would say I would probably touch on two things here. One is that, especially for utilities like ours, where the number of disconnections is quite small as compared to the overall base of customers, we can save a substantial amount of cost by keeping the connect disconnect relay optional. And this is something that can be left to the utility to decide where it wants to put a meter with connect disconnect feature and where it wants to go without it. This can save close to 20% of the cost of the smart meter and can scale and help the utility to scale it up faster. The utility can decide based on past data, which is a habitual defaulter, and where it wants to install such a meter. Of course, this needs a change in the BIS, and this is something that I would request the utility community as well as the meter manufacturing community to push, so that it will actually help in scaling up smart meters in a much faster manner. Of course, the second is not to have over specification of the meter. A lot of tamper features which otherwise are present in the meter in hardware or at the edge computation in the meter can be done in the backend because of the data being available. So a lot of simplification of the specification, particularly with respect to tamper features, can be done if to reduce the cost of the meter. Lastly, I would say that the life of the meter is determined by the weakest link. So of course, the build quality is expected to be 20 years in the meter. Battery life is expected to be 10 years, but the communication device in most cases has a life of 5 years. And this is a challenge that utilities face, whether the replacement of the communication devices. As per the regulation, of course, as per the regulation, the life of the meter is 15 years and about 5 years for communication. So it's very important to keep the communication and the meter as two separate entities, so that the utility has an opportunity to change the communication device if it goes out, if it becomes faulty. Otherwise, it'll be a huge cost to change the entire meter just for the communication. Summing up, so as I said, most important is the business case understanding, the geographical sense of where the meter spread is, the finalization of the model, whether it is CapEx or OpEx. How do we integrate multiple meter manufacturers under the selected communication technology? This is very, very critical. Integration of data from the meter to the end system. As I said, visualization of this is very important. And roadmap fixation and adherence to the schedule. There will be surprises, of course, but this is a learning curve, and we're getting better every day as an industry. I would say that AMI is very, very essential for us as Indian DISCOMs to go through this journey to become the utility of the future, and it plays a very integral part in this journey. That's it from my side. I would like to thank our partners who have worked closely with us in this smart metering journey. Landis+Gyr, Siemens in the RF implementation, and meter manufacturers HPL, L&T, as well as on the RF side, on the NB-IoT side, I'd like to thank Reliance Jio, Fluent Grid, and Genus for providing the meters and supporting us very well. Thank you very much. Open for questions and any suggestions. Thank you.
The question is, what changes do you desire in ISI 6444?
What changes do you desire? Okay. So as I said, the main change that we desire and we've been advocating is the fact that the connect disconnect feature, the relay, which contributes to roughly about, let me say, about 600 rupees in the total meter cost. We would like that to be optional. So have two variants to the smart meter, so that we have the choice as a utility. Because as I said, we have less than 5% or 10% of our customers actually needing disconnection, and that too, we know the customers who are habitual defaulters. So we know where we want to install these meters, and we don't see much sense in building up that cost across the customer base for these habitual defaulters. So that's one area that we feel which can really help in bringing down the cost and yet meeting the necessary functionality.
There's another question, and the question is, what is the future rollout plan for Tata Power?
Yeah, so we have an approved proposal by our regulator, that is Delhi Electricity Regulatory Commission, to reach about 7 lakh smart meters. So we have reached about 2.5 lakh now. Of course, there was a little bit of slowdown in last year, and hopefully this year we will be able to pick up the numbers. But we have an intention to reach at least 7 lakh smart meters in the next few years. That is what our regulator has already approved. And we will be using both the RF as well as the NB-IoT. NB-IoT, we have initially earmarked about 1 lakh smart meters through NB-IoT. Once we know how it works or how well it works, which we are very confident about it, but then it can be scaled up. But right now we have a plan for about 7 lakh smart meters.
Well, I think that's all for this session. And thank you so much for the session. Thank you, Mr. Ganesh.
Thank you.
Thank you.